What the hell is this network thinking lately? I don't know, but I'm loving it. Roll the tape.
Why would you have a baby, give a baby a hepatitis B vaccine when the only way that you can catch hepatitis B is through sexual interactions or using needles?
In this interview, CNN's Casey Hunt attempts to undermine RFK Jr. based on his past vaccine comments. And like so many other recent CNN interviews, it backfires big time. Now, most have come to realize that the purpose of the mainstream media is to shape and uphold narratives that support the agenda of the powerful few who own them, something they were quite good at only a few years ago. But lately, they've been failing miserably. That's not surprising, considering they consistently pit uninformed hosts against highly informed guests.
I'm not in a position to argue with you on the science.
Yeah, Casey, we know. Welcome back to Shadow Wreckardz, independent media for the people. If at any point you find this content valuable, kindly hit that like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, share the video. I'm Scott. Let's continue.
All right. So you have gained notoriety for your skepticism about vaccines. And over the summer in an interview, you said, quote, "There's no vaccine that is, safe and effective." We have the clip. Please play the clip.
Play the whole clip.
You've talked about that the media slanders you by calling you an anti-vaxxer. And you've said that you're not anti-vaccine, you're pro-safe vaccine. Difficult question. Can you name any vaccines that you think are good?
I think some of the live virus vaccines are probably averting more problems than they're causing. There's no vaccine that is, safe and effective.
So you did say it. Do you still believe it?
Here's what I would say. First of all, I'm not anti-vaccine.
How is that statement not anti-vaccine?
The dreaded anti-label. But it's lost a bit of its sting, hasn't it? You see, every time someone intelligent and informed stands strong in the face of one of these derogatory labels, that label loses a little bit of its potency. And the anti-vax label is on its last legs.
I've been fighting 40 years to get mercury out of fish. Nobody calls me anti-fish.
I don't know why they keep putting themselves in this position. They used to avoid tough interviews, but it seems the recent spate of bad ratings has forced their hand. She's about to go up against someone who spent much of his career educating himself on this subject, while she, admittedly, knows very little. You're not going to win that battle very often. Now, granted, that is far from the network's only problem. Adding to the challenge is that the narratives they push have become increasingly divergent from common sense and observable reality.
None of the vaccines that are currently on the mandated schedule for children, the 72 vaccines, have ever been tested in a pre-licensing safety study. What that means is that we do not know. We do not know what the risk profile is for those products, and you cannot prove that or say with any scientific certainty that any of those products are causing.
So you're saying you still believe that no vaccines are safe and effective?
It's as if she didn't listen to or understand a word he just said. He's telling you that none of these vaccines have been tested in a pre-licensing safety study. A fact that's sad but true. Now, a real journalist might ask a follow-up question like, wow, why haven't they been tested? Or is that typical for all pharmaceutical products? What he's talking about has nothing to do with belief. It's not like the movie Elf, a great movie, by the way, where belief in Santa Claus makes his sleigh fly. It's not belief in vaccines that gives us the certainty that they're safe and effective. It's scientific proof. Proof that is achieved through testing. Testing that hasn't been done.
What I'm saying is that none of the 72 vaccines has ever been tested in a safety study pre-licensing.
So let me ask you if you think it's wise for people to take these vaccines, because you had this to say on a different podcast about whether people with young babies should be getting them shots. Watch.
For many, many years, I think parents were so gaslighted and they were scapegoated and they were vilified and marginalized, so that even parents of kids who were very, very badly injured knew what happened to their kid, but they were just reluctant to talk about it. And I think now those days are over. Our job is to resist and to talk about it to everybody. If you're walking down the street And I do this now myself, which is, I don't want to do, I'm not a busybody. I see somebody on a hiking trail carrying a little baby, and I say to them, better not get them vaccinated. And he heard that from me. If he hears it from 10 other people, maybe he won't do it. Maybe he will save that child.
Maybe he will save that child. You think preventing vaccines for a child will save that child?
And this is what I meant earlier when I said, what the hell is going on with this network? Only recently they've been putting the narrative at risk by allowing challenges from highly informed guests moderated by outmatched hosts. If you've seen any of the Vivek Ramaswamy interviews, you'll know what I'm talking about. Now, if you don't think Casey is mandated to uphold a particular narrative, watch how awkward this interruption is as Kennedy gets into the dirty truth on this topic.
There are 72 doses of 16 vaccines. Oh, that's just a fact. And there are certain vaccines that were added to the schedule after 1986, because in 1986, Congress made it so that it's impossible to sue a vaccine company, no matter how negligent they are, no matter how grievous your injury, no matter how reckless their conduct.
So what were your three vaccines that you had when you were a kid?
Let me finish this.
Yeah, let him finish.
And there was a gold rush to add new vaccines to the schedule, including a lot of vaccines that are not for diseases that are not even casually contagious.
Name one.
Hepatitis B.
So you don't think a hepatitis B vaccine is progress?
So you don't think a hepatitis B vaccine is progress? Oh, she's trying so hard, but it's so clumsy. We all know that every pharmaceutical product has a risk profile. We see the commercials. They list out all of the side effects. The question he's addressing is, does the benefit of a hepatitis B vaccine for a baby outweigh the risk, considering that baby is not likely to be exposed to sexual activity or share hypodermic needles? It has nothing to do with progress. And she knows that. And I hope to God her audience does too.
The science suggests that the current hepatitis B vaccines are causing more problems than they're solving. And listen, why would you...
I'm not in a position to argue with you on the science, but I'm glad you're on the record as saying that.
Why would you have give a baby a hepatitis B vaccine when the only way that you can catch hepatitis B is through sexual interactions or using needles? Now, there are mothers who pass it to their children, and all those mothers are tested in every hospital in the country. So if somebody's at risk, then I wouldn't object to it, but why give it to a whole generation? Good health comes from building a strong immune system, and we never had hepatitis B epidemics when I was a kid. We never had rotavirus epidemics. A lot of these products were added to the schedule because they enrich the companies, and this is an automatic boon, an automatic windfall for companies that they're now allowed to mandate their product with no legal liability.
So do you think school children should not be...
And yet another awkward interruption as Kennedy again shines a light on the profit motive and lack of liability driving this industry. He finishes strong with this emphatic and unwavering position.
So do you think school children should not be required to be vaccinated in public schools?
No, I would be against mandates at all.
For any vaccines?
For any vaccine.
Okay, I'm glad we established that.
To me, this interview looked like a net loss for CNN. Did it influence any of the true believers? Perhaps. And perhaps that was the intent, to make sure those true believers know not to vote for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. But in the process, I think they risked creating quite a few more skeptics. I guess they'll have to ask themselves, did the benefit outweigh the risk? And that's how I see it, my friends. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button. Comment. I'd love to know what you think. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share the video. See you soon.